We created this video to show some of the changes we've done so far to our alliance. We may as well start from the front of the RV, and the bedroom closet is as far forward as you can go on this Valor. Brenda wanted to keep her side original with the bar to hang her clothes from. But I don't have a wardrobe that requires much hanging of clothes, so I removed the hanging bar on my side of the closet and added shelves instead. This is a mattress that Brenda found on Amazon. They call it a Narrow King, and it is 70 by 80. This barely fits without modifying the wood side stands. At 10 inches, this is considerably thicker than the original mattress, and it does cover the bedside outlets. To get around this, we added 90-degree power and USB outlets to avoid stress on cables. Even with this added weight, the gas struts still hold the foot of the bed up, except when the cat sees me in there. His extra bulk overcomes the struts, and he thinks it's pretty funny to bring it down on my head. In our Valor, the TVs all operate on the 12 volts power supply, with the exception of the living room TV. This could be great for boondocking, but unfortunately this larger TV is the only one that is a smart TV. Some time ago we decided to cut cable and use YouTube TV exclusively, both at home and on the road. One reason we chose it was because our recorded shows are in the cloud and therefore available from any device. Since none of the 12-volt smaller TVs are smart TVs, we use a Roku stick instead to provide content. These big mitts don't easily fit behind any of the TVs, so I bought a set of these short wires for each TV to make this easier. Now I just pull down the wires, attach the Roku stick, and then tuck the wires back up behind the TV again. In this way, we've essentially turned this 12-volt TV into a smart TV. So now I can easily move this one Roku between multiple TVs. We prefer to keep the bedroom just a little colder than the rest of the RV, so we replaced the heating vent in the bedroom with a louvered one, which allows us to close it off. Likewise, we have also added these louvered vent covers from Etsy to the AC vents in the bathroom. So with these, we can balance the temperature better or focus it entirely into the bedroom. I appreciate that Alliance added Max Air fans over those old style fans, but we got pretty spoiled in our last RV with this upgrade, so we did it again in this rig. This is the Max Air 7000K. It has 10 speeds, so you can adjust from gentle flow to black hole level of suction. It comes with a battery-powered remote, so you don't have to worry about reaching the controls on the unit in the ceiling or even running wires to it through the walls. It has a full hood, so we don't even generally have to worry about running the fan even if it's raining out. But my favorite feature is that it's reversible, so you can draw fresh air in or vent it out. I did have to pry out 2 boards during the install, but otherwise it was essentially just pull out the old and drop in the new. I used a full tube of lap sealant and could have used more. We saw this mod on the Venturesome Couples channel on YouTube. They cut theirs to sit on the rail better, I think. Mine just happened to be cut to this shape as scrap from another project. This acts as an aid in keeping the shower doors from sliding around in transit if the latch should fail. Brenda found these short curtains on Amazon. I think they call them apron curtains, and we hold them up in place with tension rods. I added these additional J-hook or candy cane hooks as a means of ensuring privacy in the bathroom, even when the grandkids are with us. This was an easy mod, I just had to be careful to measure the hook width properly. I must have opened this cabinet door about 6,300 times a day just to hit the lights. We moved the light switch down to the wall here for easier access. Comes in handy especially when others are staying with us and we want to keep the controls simple and accessible. With our internet router in the garage, we improved poor Wi-Fi signal with this access point near the main entry. We ran a 50-foot Ethernet cable through the ceiling back to the router by fishing it through from ceiling light to ceiling light. Since we had added this custom switch for the Wi-Fi access point, we also decided to label some of the other things so we didn't have to think about which slide or awning we were putting in or out. This is another idea that we had gotten from the Venturesome Couples channel, though I think perhaps they went with black paper instead. The idea is to block the view inside of the cabinets when the cabinet doors are closed. We opted to use static cling window film, and we chose different designs to try to help separate the different areas like kitchen and living room. And while I'm poking around in here, these bins were the closest I could find to the size of the shelves. These are great for adding extra drawers and organization My favorite pattern is the forest fog pattern here in the kitchen. The downside of this is now I want to leave all the cabinet doors open so I can see all the pretty patterns. As I understand it, this is the cold air return for the furnace and needs to remain open while the heat is on. But during the summer, when we have the air conditioning on, it's nice to be able to block this off, both to keep the cold air inside, but also to keep bugs out. Our doors came pre-prepped for these Lippert shades. I don't love them. I realize this is seriously subjective, but they feel cheap to me and often give me trouble folding properly when opening. Any door shade requires me to step outside to operate it, which I did not think of before buying these. The Valor is approximately 150 feet tall, so a stepladder was an absolute must for me. Being only 6 foot something, I wanted something that was solid, sturdy, and collapsible. I preferred something much smaller and easier to store, but this one has worked very well for us. Plus it doubles as a ladder extension for the cat, as the regular ladder is too steep for him, even with the carpet we glued to it for traction. I added an extra outlet here to give us more options for appliances. There is a space to run wires between the bottom shelf of the cabinets and a second panel below that. The pantry shelves kept shifting on us during transit. To prevent this, we added screws to the sides of each shelf, and now those catch on the shelf support rails to prevent them from sliding forward. We saw this creative idea in a video from Off to Sea in the RV channel on YouTube. They use bottle caps, but I found washers to work great too. The problem is that the drawers are cemented shut with the strongest magnets in the world. This is fantastic when you're traveling and you don't want to pick up all your silverware off the floor each time you stop, but not so terrific when fighting the drawer opening throughout the day. When we hit the campground, we go around adding washers to all the magnets, weakening the magnetic bond and allowing us to open and close things without pry bars or hired muscle. Having a slide-out spice rack helps, though I do wish it extended a bit further out. Also, the spices tend to slide around and fall over in transit. I'm thinking of hiring somebody very small to hang out in there and just hand me spices as I need them, but until then, this works better for us than just having spices rolling to the corners of cabinets. It took me a fair bit of time to find a flatware organizer on Amazon that fit our drawer. This one fits nicely, I think, with room for 2 bins on the side. I personally like the sleeker look of having no handles on the fridge, but it was sort of a pain opening it. These are bulkier than I would like, but they do sort of kind of match a little bit. I assume everybody knows about these already, but I have to mention them just in case. These travel bars are spring-loaded and keep all your goodies from sliding around too much. Just a quick view of the decor. While it doesn't fit under the heading of modification per se, we have found that viewing other people's videos and Facebook posts to be inspiring for us. We're looking forward to finishing up, maybe with some plants, reupholstering the valances, etc. We really wanted to use the garage for more than just storage when we arrived at a campground. Turning it into a dining room and office achieved this for us. We'll add curtains and other homey touches over time. We replaced the back bathroom door handle with one that locks. The garage always seemed dark to us, so we added this dimmable light and remote control outlet to help. It's also nice having a light switch right by the entry door. The bed only has 2 positions, and the upper one blocks the AC. So we added holes and pins to give it a 3rd height, even with the 3-season doors. There is an inch or 2 gap above the 3-season doors, and I didn't want pesky bugs coming in or losing air conditioning out, so we added this foam across the top. I really wanted all this stuff to be in the center of the coach. Unfortunately, I had major difficulties with proper roof access in that spot. We added a security camera in the garage. We can check on the vehicles in transit, and it is tied into the security system while we are parked. It is powered by a 12-volt to USB converter inside the wall. These chalk blocks for the motorcycles are made by a company called Wheel Dock. They are super heavy duty and rugged, and you order them to fit the exact width of your front tire. There's a foot release to trap your front wheel while sitting on your bike. Backing out is especially easy compared to cheaper models, as it is nearly flat. This ended up being a very long project. I really like how the 4006 Cyclone has a grill that slides out. That's where we first got the idea. This is really too high for a mount, but I didn't want to take up space in the forward baggage compartment. We added a hardwired surge suppressor after the automatic transfer switch. I personally like the Progressive Industries model because it displays a previous error code, so I will know what problem occurred. The tire pressure monitoring system we added uses a repeater to boost signal between tires and truck cab. We wired it into the side marker light for power. We saw this water filtration system design on the Happily Ever Hanks channel on YouTube and loved the concept. We kept the same basic design they came up with only minor changes. I love that the Valor tanks all drain into a single pipe, but it also means that each time I removed the wastewater cap, it would dribble out whatever had collected from what was left in the long pipes. So it was time to add another gate valve. I love having carpet on the steps, but the ones who love it most are the dogs. This particular set I bought because the top step on the Valor does not have an open back. That blocks us from using the usual carpet design that goes completely around the step. I'm very happy with the landing gear pads we bought. I was a little concerned about them popping off, in spite of how tightly they fit, so I ran a few screws in too. We bought a lube plate for the hitch, so we didn't have to mess with grease all the time. I could not find a backup camera that would integrate into a security system, so I went the other direction, using a security camera as a backup camera. This works off the 12-volt power supply in the RV and does not require internet, meaning I can connect to it from the truck while towing. When we stop, I haul the Starlink dish to the roof in a backpack that came with the roof mount. I also raise our homemade 4G antenna mast while I'm up there. Usually one or the other signal is strong enough for streaming. When we brought the trailer home, I found 3 of the 4 screws in one of the inner doors had fallen out. I believe this is because someone did not close the inner doors correctly. I swing the outer doors closed, ensuring that they are latched at the top. Once those are secured, I then slide the inner doors closed, watching to make sure they engage properly with the track. Of course, the upper panes of glass need to be lowered all the way down for transport. I have found that when I close the ramp door, it is very helpful to first open the side entry door. This allows the air pressure to escape, and the ramp door closes much easier.